We continue with the third week, reflecting on this book, The 7 Spiritual Gifts of Waiting by Holly W. Whitcomb. Today, the reflection is on living in the present. The words are the author's, not my own, but please listen to her wisdom. Waiting teaches us to dwell fully where we are. When we can't control our circumstances, and we can't predict the future, we have the opportunity to live in the present. Be here now. This admonition asks us to live intentionally in the present, to focus on what is happening now. It invites us to pay attention and to learn from our current circumstances. It invites us to forget about our waiting, to willingly be distracted by the present. Be here now invites us to enjoy the moment. This technique really works. Next time you are stuck in traffic or waiting in line, give it a try. Look around. Start noticing what you see, hear, and feel. You might be surprised by something funny or interesting or revealing, even about yourself. Living in the present invites us to relinquish worry. Etty Hillesum, a young Dutchwoman and law student, and one of the world's most heroic diarists of the Holocaust, tried her best to be a comfort to fellow sufferers and to put worry aside. The degree of stress in Amsterdam's Jewish community in the early 1940s was almost unimaginable. While Etty waited for years with thousands of other Jews as they were stripped of freedoms month by month and then eventually shipped off to concentration camps to be gassed, she aspired to retain hope, to live in gratitude, and to live in the present moment. She worked fervently on the Jewish Council, advocating for her fellow Jews, and then for the rest of the time tried to serve as a non-anxious and generous presence. Etty Hillesum knew what was happening around her as Hitler took over Holland, yet she chose to appreciate beauty, to savor friendship, and to live in the present. One day, Etty spent time reading Matthew 6, verse 34. So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring worries of its own. Today's trouble is enough for today. After reading this scripture, she wrote in her journal, "We have to fight them daily, like fleas, those many small worries about the morrow, for they sap our energies. We make mental provisions for the days to come, and everything turns out differently, quite differently, sufficient unto the day. The things that have to be done must be done, and for the rest we must not allow ourselves to become infested with thousands of petty fears and worries, so many motions of no confidence in God. Ultimately, we have just one moral duty, to reclaim large areas of peace in ourselves, more and more peace, and to reflect it toward others." The longer I live, the more I believe that worry is an utterly unprofitable and ineffective condition. Yet worry is a pervasive condition, especially when we are waiting for something important such as a test result, a mortgage approval, a job decision, news about a loved one. The truth is, worry never teaches us anything useful. When we worry, we disempower ourselves and lessen our trust in God. When we worry, our anxiety mounts as we manipulate everyone around us to make room for our worry and to accommodate our anxiety. Waiting presents us with a unique opportunity to shift gears from useless worry about the future to engagement in the present. What is good right now? What can I be at peace with today? Living in the present invites us to make the spiritual leap of trusting in God, believing that God is always near. Most of us live as if God were on vacation and we are in charge, as if the planet's daily spinning depended on our relentless productivity, on our holding up our end of the bargain. We worry how we are going to handle everything that's on our plate. The truth is, we function much better when we are able to turn our endless work over to God. Sometimes, thankfully, our schedules get interrupted by something for which we have to wait. Something holds us up or stops us in our tracks. When we can take this moment to step back, we can gain some perspective. The author goes on to share a time of anxiety for herself in her life, and then shares this. I needed to stop trying to take care of everything, to stop worrying. I needed to reclaim an area of peace within myself. I needed to recognize what was sufficient unto the day. I needed to declare, it is enough. This is all that is possible. Over and over in the midst of the clamor, I had to admit my own powerlessness, to relinquish worry and to trust God. When I did that, I could breathe more easily, offer up my worry and allow God to help. Loosening my grip and living more lightly allowed me to take a walk each morning, to relax a little in the evening, and even to experience a good night's sleep. It is enough, a small, simple treasure. Consider it the next time waiting makes you crabby or anxious or stressed out. Maybe waiting is offering you a chance to receive this empowering gift. One of my favorite scriptures has always been the Easter evening story of the disciples on the road to Emmaus. In the 24th chapter of Luke, 2 weary and grief-stricken disciples were plodding along. Jesus had just been crucified, and their dream of the Messiah who would redeem Israel had been wrecked. Then a stranger joined them on the road and innocently began asking details of this sorry tale. As the 2 disciples approached the village of Emmaus, their obligation to hospitality kicked in, and they said, "Come on in, it's getting dark. Stay with us and eat." It was at the supper table that the stranger revealed who he was. When Jesus took the bread, blessed it, broke it, and gave it to them, they finally recognized him. I've always found this story intriguing. It's amazing, and yet not so amazing, that Jesus revealed himself in the breaking of the bread, around the supper table, doing something ordinary. We are all revealed to be our true selves at the supper table, not at the table per se, but in all that is ordinary, in all that is daily, in all that is routine. It is in the middle of the commonplace, the tedious, the mundane, that our true colors show. We can all be shining heroes and heroines once in a while, but it is in the tiresome trenches of routine that faithfulness matters. Theologian Elizabeth Dreyer has written, "You never have to go to Lent. Lent always comes to you." This statement is profound. This statement changes all of life. This statement says that ministry is everywhere, that faithfulness is everywhere, and it comes back to living in the present. Living in the present is an invitation to sit down, take a deep breath, and ask, what is in front of my face this very minute that summons me to faithfulness? That summons is most likely found in everyday routines. Maybe it means not going ballistic when a husband brings home 2 pounds of shredded cheese rather than the 2 cans of cheddar cheese soup you had so carefully instructed. Maybe it means waiting that 45 minutes in the school parking lot for a child to return from an out-of-town game without anger and impatience. Maybe it means listening with empathy and containment to a 95-year-old relative who has already told us 3 times about what happened last week in line at the bank. Everyday faithfulness means helping others feel safe and secure. It means showing up at school or at the nursing home. It is in the saying goodbye and the saying goodnight. It is in the praying at mealtimes, or in the packing of lunches, or in the matching of socks. Are you a habitual waiter? How much of your life do you spend waiting? What I call small-scale waiting is waiting in line at the post office in a traffic jam, at the airport, or waiting for someone to arrive to finish work, and so on. Large-scale waiting is waiting for the next vacation, for a better job, for the children to grow up, for a truly meaningful relationship, for success, to make money, to be important, to become enlightened. It is not uncommon for people to spend their whole life waiting to start living. Eckhart Tolle. A couple of questions to ponder before we conclude. Say the words, "Be here now." What insight do these words offer you in your present circumstance? Think of a place you have to go this week where you know you will need to wait. What could you do to practice being here now while you wait? Try it and note what effect it has on you and on those around you. Thank you for your attention, and now please receive a blessing. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look upon you with favor and give you peace. Until next time.